So that's just a few scenes from Niagara Park's Power Station and Tunnel, which is the newest attraction in Niagara Falls, Ontario. So there you can see I have two yellow stars, number 1 and number 2. Number 1 is where you actually go into the building and do the tour and go down through the tunnel on a glass elevator. And then number 2 is roughly where you come out in the gorge below the falls. There's lots of paid parking right next to the power station. We actually parked a little bit up the parkway at Dufferin Island, saved about $5 an hour. But yeah, there is lots of parking. So just for wayfinding, you can see all the hotels there. Table Rock Welcome Center and the Incline Railway are just down the path there, so really close to the Horseshoe Falls. And there you can see the building. The building's almost 600 feet long, so it's about 587 feet long. So it's hard to miss if you just walk up from the Horseshoe Falls. And when you first come in, there's a ticket desk to your left. We chose the non-guided tour, so basically self-directed, and that gives you access to the tunnel below. So really cool displays here. I gotta say they did a nice job, especially this one where you can see the building on the top here and all the different levels and decks below and what goes on actually. So at the very top you can see your generator spinning. Down below at the very bottom you see the turbine. So that big pipe to the right there is called a penstock. They actually show you that later. You can actually walk through one. It's about 10 feet wide. And there are a total of 11 generators on the main floor. So I guess they call that the hall. But there you can see they do a good job also of explaining the mechanics and how ahead of its time it was for hydroelectric innovation. So it was built between 1901 and 1905. So it took them 4 years to build this facility and the tunnel. And there you can see a big part of the attraction is the glass tunnel that takes you through all the levels down 180 feet down to the tunnel, which used to be called the Tail Race Tunnel. So that carried all the kind of the used water from the Niagara River that had done its job turning the turbines and spinning the generators. Once it was done with, it would actually go out the tunnel back into the lower Niagara River. So very fascinating to see all the different levels. And there you can see it ascending. So you get to see it twice. So have your cameras ready too if you want to record what the different levels look like. And there you can see the entrance to the tunnel. There's lots of interactive displays along the way. There's a few garbage cans and recycling containers. So the walk itself is only probably about 12 to 15 minutes, I would say, at a leisurely pace. Again, you can stop at all the displays, which we did. I did take pictures of them, so a second video will show you some of the pictures of the displays and exhibits. But there you can see as you go along, they show you where you are below ground in relation to what's above. So I did speed up the kind of last little section of the tunnel. As you come out, your eyes have to adjust because see how you're coming from, you know, a dark, fairly dark tunnel. They don't light it, they purposely don't light it up too much inside just to kind of keep it how it originally was, even though there was no lighting back then for the tunnel. So yeah, that's how you come out. And once your eyes adjust, it's really nice to see both the American Falls and the Horseshoe Falls. You're kind of right in between. And the concrete platform extends quite far out, so it offers some great views of both the American Falls and the Canadian Horseshoe Falls. And the power station itself is fully accessible along with the elevator and tunnel, so it's accessible for everyone, and there is accessible washrooms. So yeah, it's fun to see the American-Canadian boats battling the currents and getting in there nice and close, and people's reactions on the boats. It's quite a ride if you've ever done it. Quite the blast of water and mist, and once in a lifetime kind of thing to do. But this comes close as well. You're almost in that same area as the boat, so you get to see the falls from a really kind of safe vantage point. You're also looking up, you know, almost 200 feet to the top of from the bottom of the gorge looking up. Sometimes you'll see people waving back, which is kind of fun. And it's definitely not a view most people get to see unless you're doing the boat tour, but you know, you can take your time. The platform, there's no time limit. There is a staff member just keeping watch on everyone and answering some questions. Now the tunnel itself, I wouldn't say it's cold in there, but it's in the 60s in terms of degrees. So you could wear a hoodie or a sweater or a rain jacket, but we didn't really get wet. There was a couple of times when you're out on the platform where the mist kind of falls on you, but every day is different, of course, but you can see it was pretty dry. And it's interesting to see all the minerals that kind of seep through the brickwork and the stonework inside the tunnel. And when you're back on the main floor, just take the time to look through the exhibits and just kind of appreciate the building and the technology of the time. We're talking, 1901 and 1905. So, collaboration between inventors like Westinghouse and Tesla, how they came together, and that there's quite a story behind this building and hydroelectric technology of the time. So, yeah, interesting to see overhead cranes. They do show you here a cutaway of the penstock. Like I said, this is the main water pipes that would flow down below the hull deck to the turbines. And when you consider it actually ran for over 100 years and gave reliable power to the area, along with the other dam further down the river. Another interesting part of the power station is where the water actually came into the, I think it was called the forebay. So there was a weir out in the river that would direct some of the water here, and you could see these metal fins just at the bottom of the screen were actually ice screens. So they would prevent most of the ice from getting into the pipes like the penstocks. They did have problems early on, but I guess they did sort it out. But it's also interesting to see all the fish here. The station's no longer operating, so it's kind of a home for quite an aquatic life down below. So interesting to see. This area of the power station also houses there's a gift shop, and I believe a little snack bar. We did not see most of that, but we didn't have the time. But yeah, it's interesting to explore that as well. And I'm sure there's group tours and guided tours. I don't have that information, but I'll provide the link to their website for more information. There you can see the bridge going over for the Niagara Parkway, and then in the distance there's a weir and the Niagara River. Now, some people get confused with this building and the power station building. So this is the one you're looking for with the kind of arched windows, and there's the address for your devices. So I hope you enjoyed this brief look at Niagara's new attraction, the tunnel and the power station. And I do have a part 2 with some more scenes of interactive exhibits from that facility. So be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to see that. And appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for more videos, and bye for now.